I'm Nevin Steinberg. I'm a Broadway sound designer, currently represented on Broadway with Dear Evan Hansen and Bandstand the Musical, and of course Hamilton. The first show I ever saw was Fiddler on the Roof. My parents brought me to a revival of Fiddler on the Roof. I was about 4 years old, and we went to the theater to see a revival of Fiddler. It's not related to audio, but I do have this one distinct memory of the turntable at the end of the show, and their family's traveling to out of Anatevka, leaving Anatevka, and they start to, with the milk cart with all their possessions on, and they start to walk, and of course they walk nowhere because they were walking counter to this rotating stage, which for me as a child was magic. I couldn't believe it, and I still, when I think about it now, I still get kind of emotional about it because it made such an impression on me that you could walk and not go anywhere, right? That's just like, for a kid, that's an amazing experience. I've been a professional sound designer, I guess since about 2000. I did my first Broadway sound designs with partners. Actually, in 2000 formed a small company called Acme Sound Partners. And the first project I worked on as a designer was really The Full Monty. It was a Broadway musical in 2000 that Tom had been asked to design. I actually wanted to pivot a little bit and said, maybe I could be your associate sound designer on that. And from that idea and Tom's kind of being overbooked with other designs and bringing Mark Menard on as a partner for co-designs, we all formed this company and decided to start designing shows as a team. So Full Monty was the first. Bells Are Ringing, I guess a revival also in 2000 would have been the next, and then on from there for the next 11 years. One of our first projects as a team early on was the Delacorte Theater in Central Park. Actually decided to do a production of The Seagull, which they hired Mike Nichols to direct. I think the lore is that he agreed to do this only if they completely redid the sound system at the Delacorte. That he hated the way it sounded there, and he wouldn't direct this piece and bring to bear all of his resources unless the public was willing to renovate the whole sound system. And so Acme was hired as the sound designer, but also to redesign the sound system in the park. And I think Mike Nichols and the public and Acme kind of created a new environment for the Delacorte and Shakespeare in the Park. And that was the beginning of an idea that if you bring sort of top tier people together and bring all of your resources to bear on a problem or a challenge, and then bring good equipment and kind of a smart layout and some interesting ways of doing things, that you get good results. And I think it's borne out. I mean, the public's been using that since then. And The Seagull was an amazing success. It was amazing production, amazing success. 2012 is kind of one of the touchstones for me. It was after I actually left Acme Sound Partners. It was and I went out on my own, and I was actually struggling to find work. Things had been drying up for the company anyway a little bit, and I was lucky enough to get a job doing the sound design for Cinderella, Rodgers and Hammerstein's Cinderella on Broadway, which actually had never been produced on Broadway. It was reinvented and rethought for modern times with an adaptation and a new story, and that one seemed to really click. We seemed to achieve something with the idea of how the show should sound and actually executing it, where those things sort of married in a way that felt very satisfying. The show is a success. I wouldn't say it wasn't a monster hit. It did very well, but we all felt good, not only about the work we did in sound, but also the work we did in support of the production. And that was a very, I carried that with me, and I continue to this day sort of carry that with me as a great moment of when you work hard and bring together the right people and have a couple of good ideas and really try and execute sort of every day, walk in the building every day and try and execute, that it can lead to success. And success is, in this business, of course, variable, right? It's not, we don't know what it is, we don't know what it means, but that felt like success. And I think it would have had the show closed, a week later. I think we felt successful. And that was very reassuring to me, and it continues to motivate me as I go forward.